There's something unsettling about driving alone at night. The empty streets, the flickering streetlights, the way the silence wraps around you, thick and suffocating. For Jason Carter, a late-night rideshare driver, the darkness was his second home, until the night he picked up a passenger who shouldn't exist. Jason had been driving for 4 years. He was used to all kinds of passengers, drunks, night shift workers, the occasional couple arguing in the back seat. Nothing surprised him anymore. But this trip was different. It started with a simple notification. Pickup request, 43 Blackwood Lane. Jason frowned. That address, it wasn't just abandoned. It had been destroyed in a fire 30 years ago. The only thing left was a burned-out husk of a house, hidden behind overgrown weeds. He had heard rumors about it. Stories of shadows moving in the windows, of whispers in the wind. He shook his head. Urban legends, that's all they were. But money was money. The road to Blackwood Lane was dark, lined with skeletal trees that seemed to reach for him. As Jason pulled up to the supposed pickup spot, he noticed something strange. There was no one there. Then the back door unlocked on its own. His breath hitched. His fingers hovered over his phone, ready to cancel the ride. But then, from the corner of his eye, he saw movement in the rearview mirror. A woman. Pale. Dressed in an old-fashioned blue dress, her hair pinned in curls. She sat in the back seat, hands folded neatly in her lap. She met his gaze through the mirror. Blackwood Cemetery, please. Jason's throat went dry, but he forced himself to nod. Sure thing. His voice was steadier than he felt. He tapped the address into his GPS and started driving. The silence in the car was unbearable, thick with something unnatural. He tried making conversation. So, long night? The woman smiled, just a small eerie curve of her lips. You could say that. Goosebumps prickled Jason's arms. He focused on the road. The streetlights flickered as he passed. He risked another glance in the mirror. The woman wasn't looking at him anymore. She was staring out the window, murmuring something under her breath. And then, Jason slammed on the brakes. All right, what the hell's going on? The woman turned to him, her eyes hollow, distant. You're the first one to take me this far. Most drivers disappear before we arrive. Jason's pulse pounded. Disappear? What do you mean? A wave of cold air swept through the car. The radio crackled, voices whispering in a language he didn't understand. The streetlights around them died, plunging the road into darkness. And then, she was gone. The passenger seat was empty. His phone vibrated. A notification? Drop-off complete. Payment received. Jason sat frozen, breath ragged. He checked the back seat. Nothing. No sign anyone had ever been there. He gripped the wheel and turned the car around, speeding back to town. He needed answers. The next morning, he found himself at the local records office, digging through old newspaper archives. And there it was. Eleanor Whitmore, 24, perished in the Blackwood Lane fire. Her body was never recovered. Jason never took another ride request from Blackwood Lane. But sometimes, late at night, he'd glance at his phone, and there it was. Pickup request, 43 Blackwood Lane. He always declined. But part of him wondered, if he ever said yes again, would he still be the one behind the wheel by the end of the ride?